Whatever happened to lightweight wheels? Not too long ago, lightweight wheels were in the conversation for the pinnacle of bike wheel sets. They were coveted by pros and connoisseurs alike, even playing an integral part to Team Sky's dominance as part of their marginal gains, despite being sponsored by Shimano at the time. It is rare these days to hear a conversation about dominant wheels that would include lightweight, at least on this side of the pond. So when I was afforded the opportunity to test ride part of their line, I was more than intrigued. I was chomping at the bit to get on them. But seriously, what happened? Well, apparently nothing bad has happened. I mean, they haven't fallen into obscurity or anything like that, as evidenced by the reaction I got by some of my mates post-ride, as those who know, those bike connoisseurs were like, hey, I see you on those lightweights. Man, I felt like my channel cred went up a few notches because I was rolling on some Obermayer Evos. Felt kind of good. So I'll be riding these wheels on different rides, different scenarios, basically so that I can get a very good idea of how they perform based on today's standards. And then I'm going to share my impressions with you. In today's video, what I'm going to do is just talk about my initial ride impressions, and I'm balancing that against the number of different wheels that I have ridden over the past year. I've had an opportunity to ride tubulars, clinchers, and disc brake wheels. Under tubulars, I have been riding the Campagnola Bora Ultra. I've also ridden the Roval Rapide CLX 60. Those are tubulars. Clinchers, I have ridden the Elite Drive, and I've also ridden the Windspace Hyper 23 SCs. And under disc brakes, I have ridden, when I was riding the Blackheart, I had an opportunity to ride the Hunt Aerodynamicist. I also rode the wheels, which are the Microtech that the Basso Diamante came with. And I've also been riding a set of Chinese wheels, which are the Magene DB508 Ultra, and also, what are the other ones? The Super Team S All Carbon. So there's like a hodgepodge of different wheels that I've had an opportunity to ride to get a different feel, different sensations in different situations. So it's going to be really interesting to see how I'm not going to call it old tech, but you guys have been doing this game for a while. You're way ahead of the curve. Let's see where you're at right now. It's going to be very interesting to see how my impressions are balancing the performance of these wheels against the other wheels that I have had the opportunity to ride. So I'm not going to do an unboxing because that stuff is boring and you guys don't really want to see it. I will tell you what's in the box, but what I'll do is we're going to weigh them, I'm going to measure them, and then I'm just going to give you my initial ride impressions. In a future date, I'll come back and I'll talk to you about how I feel about them overall. All right, let's go. So front and rear measured pretty much about the same. I'm getting an internal width of right around 18, an external width of 24, and front and rear I'm getting a depth of 50 millimeters. And then the front wheel weighs in at 588 grams, with the rear weighing in at 681 grams for a grand total of 1,269 grams. Pretty light, I would say. What's in the box? Let's cut open and find out. By the way, the wheel bed is nicely finished and sealed, so they're tubeless ready. And finished nicely, I might add. So you get a pouch that contains adapters for the rotor install for both 6-bolt and center lock. You get 2 proprietary tire levers, and please use these and only these on your wheels. Valve stems for tubular install. And then you get this like pouch thing that had kind of like some swag. Not my wheels, I did not open it up. And then you get a really, really nice wheel bag. So for my initial ride, I took the bike out on the Ride 84 group ride that I typically do on Saturday mornings, except I didn't do the A-B group, I did a C group, which still goes along at a pretty good clip. Over 30 miles, we still average at 20 miles an hour. Most of the time I look down, we were doing 21, 22. And I wanted to do a more pedestrian ride, I guess I should call it, because I would be able to pay more attention to what was going on with the bike as opposed to my fitness and making sure that I got stuck into the faster group. So that's what I did. The wheels are equipped with Vittoria Corsa, which are the same tires that came with the bike with the Microtech R38. I wanted to kind of like get a benchmark for the original tires on different rims to kind of like get an idea. Later on, I'll be putting some Pirelli P0s on there, and I'll be using that for subsequent rides. But while I was on the ride, I got some impressions and I recorded a couple clips. By the way, I'm recording this ride on the DJI Osmo 5 Pro camera, which I'll be doing a review and a comparison on that shortly, but the images are just stunning. But anyway, we're talking about bikes, not cameras. So these two clips that I recorded kind of like gave like an impression of what I was feeling with the wheels while I was on the ride. So this wheel set deals with bumps different than other wheels. Like some wheel sets, you go over a bump and it feels like blunt, others it feels kind of sharp. This wheel set is kind of like on the sharper side of bumps. But that's not really it. The thing about it is all the little things in the road that you don't feel as much with other wheels, you do feel them. It's kind of, it's like if it would be annoying. You just feel every little rut, every little patch, every little crevice on the road. It comes through. It's the kind of stuff that if you were on a long ride with these, it will just wear you out after a while. In terms of the stiffness for acceleration, it's definitely there. Very efficient, very aero. I just had a situation where my glasses fell and I had to turn around and go get it and come back and catch up to the group. And I was doing 25, 26 easy. Well, I'm not gonna say easy, but with relative ease to get back to the group. But yeah, we'll see how they do in the ratty road section. If you've watched my videos in the past, you know what this is. If you are new, it is a section of road we call ratty road because the asphalt is subpar and just transmits everything to you. It is great test for how a bike dampens rough roads because we take it at speed, but it's not so bad that you'll lose control of the bike. Now, surprisingly, I didn't feel any more or any less than typical for a carbon frame. Well, a performance-oriented carbon frame, let's just say. It's not titanium or steel smooth, but it felt normal for carbon. Keeping in mind that I'm running these 28s at about 77 PSI, but I gotta tell you, as I came out of it, I was pleasantly surprised and I felt like, wow, I came out unscathed. Of note, in contrast, I have also recently ridden the lightweight Fad Finder. It's their all-road wheel, which should offer more compliance, right? Well, I'll be sharing my thoughts on that wheel set soon. All right, final thoughts and takeaways. I like these wheels. It's hard not to. The construction, well, let me start this way. My initial impression of the wheels is that they're very solid construction. Whatever they did in terms of their engineering and development is clear. The construction is first class, second to none. The quality of the wheels, it just oozes. We know what we're doing when we're building wheels. It's clearly a concept in the engineering of these wheels that has been refined over time, and it simply works. The tied spokes, when they crisscross, is one of those elements that lends a lot of rigidity to the wheels for acceleration. You feel like the whole wheel moves forward with no flex or deflection, and it does the same thing when you brake. You feel like the whole wheel is hunkered down and aiding your braking. So that concept actually works, which is different than a lot of the Chinese wheels where they have carbon spokes, but they keep them separate. But what that also does is it gives you an inherent stiffness in the wheel, not just a rigidity that just kind of like brings a lot of transmission of road buzz, vibrations, and things that I don't want to feel when I ride. I was running 28mm tires at 77 PSI. Despite the fact that these are 24mm external wheels, I didn't feel like there was too much light bulbing or anything like that. In terms of the aerodynamics, I didn't feel anything. It was a windy day. We had some crosswinds. I'll have to be out there on a solo ride to get a better idea of how they perform in the wind when I get hit with a headwind or some crosswinds. Cornering, the wheels do this weird thing where when you turn, right when you're in the middle of the corner, you feel like it's kind of like sawing. And I'm going to attribute that to the stiffness of the construction of the wheels. We'll see after a few more rides if it continues to do that. I'll put the wheels on another bike and see if I can, duplicate the same kind of thing. Then I'll know for sure it's the wheels. I think that's it. That's enough for first impressions video, right? Yeah, that's enough. So if you're interested in getting your hands on some lightweight, go see my friend Brandon at City Bike Aventura, or you can also go see Mr. Dave at City Bikes Pembroke Pines. Those guys will get you squared away with all your lightweight needs. All right, guys. Once again, thank you so much for supporting our channel by watching these videos, by giving us likes, sharing your thoughts. Let me know your thoughts or your experience with lightweight wheels in the comment section as well. And by subscribing and sharing our videos with other like-minded people who have a love for bikes. All right, guys, as always, our aim here is to inform, instruct, inspire. Be blessed.